Hello and welcome back to the second half of WCBN FM Ann Arbor's broadcast of Michigan football. I'm Morris Fabry. Alongside me is Jeremy Parks, and we are just about ready to get underway with the second half. Michigan leading the Hawai'i Rainbow Warriors 35-0. Jeremy, what are some of your takeaways from the first half?
First half was absolute dominance from Michigan, right up until the closing drive from Hawai'i, in which we saw a well put together drive from Ikaika Woolsey. They were finally putting together something, but Hawai'i suffered at the end of the half with a 10-second runoff on an illegal grounding call that ran out the clock, unable to score any points as Michigan went in up 5 touchdowns, 35-0 as we start the second half here. Hawai'i going to try and build off of that as they come back out on offense after Michigan will see the receiving team first as they deferred after they won the coin toss.
It'll be Rigoberto Sanchez booting it deep for the Rainbow Warriors. It's a high-angled kick toward the right side. Will be fielded in the air by number 37 for the Wolverines. Evades a couple tacklers before he is brought down. It was Bobby Henderson, the fullback, the upback there, receiving the kick in lieu of Jabril Peppers. Understandable that Hawai'i would want to keep the ball away from him. He ducked out of bounds around the 32-yard line, which is where Michigan will begin the second half.
And this Michigan offense has seemed nothing less than methodical in the first half of this game. Wilton Spate did throw an interception on the first play from scrimmage for the Michigan offense. But since then, it's been nothing but smooth sailing. Is 9 of 12, 123 yards with 3 touchdowns and the 1 interception.
Offside I formation. Spate turns, gives to Ty Isaac, cutting to his left, tries to spin out of a few tackles, moves a pile up near the 34, the 35-yard line where he's dragged down. Gain of 3 that'll set up 2nd and 7 for the Wolverines. Henry Poggi leading the way for the Maize and Blue. Now Poggi off the field. Onto the field is Chris Evans, the freshman for the Wolverines. Perhaps the offensive highlight of the first half. 7 carries for 69 yards and a touchdown. I'll bet you many of the fans in this stadium had never even heard of him prior to this game. Spate out of the gun, 2 wide receivers to his right, 1 to his left, takes the snap, drops back to throw, looks left, evades a tackler in the backfield, throws it short, it's caught. Mo Ways toward the left side, shoved out of bounds across the 50 and down to the 45-yard line. Big game for the Wolverines. They're into Hawai'i territory. 2 plays and a bunch of yards to start the second half.
First catch of the season for Mo Ways, trying to earn his name in that set of Michigan wide receivers who will see a good amount of playing time. Again, led by Amar Darbo and J.U. Chesson, but a number of hands team struggling behind to get playing time.
Michigan in the I formation. Drake Harris split wide to the right. Spate turns, gives to Evans, running up the middle, and he is gone. 20-10-5 touchdown. Chris Evans showing impressive burst. Great blocking up the middle. Michigan leads this one 41, soon to be 42-0.
Chris Evans, you mentioned him as the half started, already was leading the Wolverines in rushing. People thought he might be redshirted this season. Michigan deciding not to go with that, burning the red shirt. And Chris Evans already making the Hawai'i Rainbow Warriors pay here in the second half. Now up to 8 carries, 112 yards and 2 touchdowns. That one a 43-yard dash to the end zone, right through the heart of the Hawai'i defense.
It'll be Chris Tice on to attempt the PAT for the Wolverines. Garrett Moore's the holder. Sipnewski, the snap, the hold, the kick is up, and it is straight through. Michigan leads by 6 touchdowns, 42-0 your score. How about that? Just a minute, 16 seconds into the second half, the Wolverines get on the board again.
This University of Michigan team came out of the locker room amped up after blanking Hawai'i in the first half, scoring 5 touchdowns, picking up right where they left off. It only took 2 plays, I believe, for the Wolverines to march all the way down the field and score.
Chris Evans now on the day, 8 carries for 112 yards, 2 touchdowns, averaging 14 yards a carry. Your second leading carrier for the Wolverines, Ty Isaac, 6 carries for 38 yards. Heading into the season, there were some questions about whether Isaac or Drake Johnson would emerge as that number 2 back behind Davion Smith. Smith walked off to the locker room today, and Evans has really impressed out here. Do you think there is any chance that Evans takes on a bigger role in this offense than expected?
Well, I think after today, if you're Jim Harbaugh, you have to continue to give looks to Evans with the way that he's performed so far. It's not only that offensive line that's been able to give him holes, but he's shown some explosive speed through the gaps and has been able to turn that ball upfield more often than not. And the fact that a freshman in his first start is now leading this Michigan running back core in total yardage, touchdowns, carries. It's impressive nonetheless.
Took off up the middle like he was shot out of a cannon on that 43-yard scamper. Certainly a name that Michigan fans will be learning for and getting to know for the next few years here at the University of Michigan. So Michigan about to kick back off to the Hawai'i Rainbow Warriors. The defense has been very solid today. Perhaps the biggest story on that end were the players you won't see in the second half. Taco Charlton being escorted off the field with an ankle injury. Brian Monet also sitting out the second half likely. Jordan Lewis never made it onto the field. What does this mean for the Wolverines, both in the second half and going down to the next few games?
Well, the good thing for the Wolverines is even if these injuries do cause certain players to miss time, there's just an embarrassment of riches and depth in just about every single position on the defensive side of the ball. Taco Charlton, the ankle injuries can really nag at you and can sustain for a while. Hopefully that is not the case. But if it is, the Wolverines have fantastic backups right behind to make sure that nothing is lost and that the Wolverines continue to produce on D.
Interesting little scene before we take this kickoff. James Foog, the backup kicker, just booted a football straight into the crowd from the 30-yard line on the right side of the field. A little bit of fun for the fans who have come out in droves today to see the Wolverines open up this 2016 season. Expectations sky high, and the performance has absolutely matched them today. Michigan 348 total yards to Hawaii's 72. Michigan has scored as many touchdowns as Hawaii has first downs with 6 apiece.
All 6 first downs coming on Hawaii's final drive of the first half, in which they marched all the way down up to Michigan's inside the 5-yard line, but unable to score. A series of costly penalties, the last of which being a 10-second runoff from a grounding call that ended the first half, had Hawaii come away with nothing. But Heiko Woolsey did look a lot better on that final drive, was previously 1 for 6 after the drive 7 of 13 for 88 yards.
It'll be James, the lefty, booting it deep. Paul Harris angled toward the left side, fielded at about the 6 by Harris. Cutting toward the middle of the field, has some blocking, and he's tripped up at about the 25-yard line, and that's where Hawaii will start their drive. 13:38 to go here in the third quarter. Michigan leading Hawaii 42-0 here on WCBN FM Ann Arbor's broadcast of Michigan football. A couple of the bench players coming out for the Wolverines. Matt Godin perhaps getting his first meaningful playing time today. Chase Winovich and Rashawn Gary will be your 2 defensive ends. On the offensive side for Hawaii, Heiko Woolsey, still the quarterback. To his left is Paul Harris. 1 receiver out wide right, 2 to his left. Woolsey out of the gun. Dakota Torres moves across the formation to the left side. Woolsey takes the snap, turns, gives to Harris, running up the middle. Stutter stepping behind the line, but he's wrapped up after a gain of about half a yard by a slew of Michigan linemen. 2nd down and 9 awaiting the Hawai'i Rainbow Warriors.
Wolverines continue to pack 6 in the box on almost every play. Don Brown, new defensive coordinator for the Wolverines, coming from Boston College, where he led the #1 defense in the nation with a far lesser talent base. Now here at the University of Michigan with some of the best defensive players in the country. This defense, one of the highly touted aspects of this Wolverines team. And Don Brown's blitzing ideology has proven to be anything short of has been effective. We'll go with effective. How about that?
Hawaii operating out of the gun. Michigan 4-down lineman sending a blitz. The throw is quick out to the left side. A diving catch. It's an interception for the Wolverines. Channing Stribling, a flag down in the backfield. But for now, it looks like a turnover.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense. Number 15. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
And it looks like the turnover will be nullified by a roughing the passer penalty on Chase Winovich. Recently put into the game for Taco Charlton, and he has reversed some more momentum in favor of the Wolverines. Stribling looking a bit disappointed after a spectacular read and a diving grab.
And first time we've heard Chase Winovich's name called today. He was absolutely one of the most hyped up players coming out of camp, causing a bit of a penalty here in the first appearance.
Looked like Winovich hit the quarterback, who I believe is Aaron Swallen, now the backup, hit him high, and that's a no-go. Hawaii operating out of the gun now at their own 42-yard line. Harris split to the left of Zwale. Zwalen takes the snap, gives to Harris, charging up the middle, wrapped up and brought down, gain of about 1.5 by the middle of the Wolverines defensive line. It is actually Drew Brown at quarterback for the Rainbow Warriors. So that'll bring up 2nd and 8 for Hawaii. About their own 44-yard line. Brown will operate out of the gun. 2 receivers split wide left, 1 to his right. The one in isolation is Marcus Kemp. Brown out of the gun. Michigan 4 down linemen. Looks like the linebacker cheating up is McCray. Handoff to Harris. He is struck by Hill, bounces off the tackle, but brought down by Jabril Pepper shortly thereafter. Good pursuit by the Michigan hybrid space linebacker. Gain of about 3. That'll bring up 3rd and 5 for Hawaii from their own 47-yard line.
Again, this Michigan defense stunting the Hawaii attack, leaving them with a 3rd and mid-distance. Trying to force another punt from Rigoberto Sanchez.
Michigan, for the most part, leaving their starters in here in the second half. You got to wonder how long that's going to last. Stephen Laka in the game for Hawaii. He splits out to the left side as a slot receiver. It'll be Drew Brown out of the gun, but before anything can happen, he calls timeout. That'll be Hawaii's first of the half. 11:02 to go here in the third quarter. Hawaii still trailing the Wolverines 42-0, and they're going to get a little more time to think about what they're going to do with this 3rd and 5 situation.
Don Brown was the first out onto the field to come converse with his defensive front. Trying to put together a stopping play here on 3rd and 5. Get the ball back in the hands of the Wolverines.
At the age of 20, he served in the Pacific Theater, part of Company B's 2nd Tank Battalion, attached to the 2nd Marine Division.
The veteran of the game being honored here at Michigan Stadium in the break, Arthur Russell, both of the United States Marine Corps and the United States Navy. Will make his way out onto the field to the applause of 100,000 plus here in Ann Arbor, honoring our veterans every game.
And I'd say 100,000 plus. Michigan has been, let's say, generous with their attendance figures in years past, but I'd say that's pretty accurate. Right now, the only section of the stadium lacking in crowd density is the student section, as is the norm here in the Big House. But still pretty well packed. A great crowd today for the season opener.
That student section was full pretty much all the way up to the last row in the first half, but at halftime, many opting to go home in the heat.
Plenty of other football games to watch today. Oklahoma-Houston, still a good one right now. LSU-Wisconsin at Lambeau Field. That one's going to get started probably around the time of the conclusion of this one at 3:30. So, perhaps a lot of the students looking to go home, sober up, and, take a pregame nap before watching what is to be a very exciting slate of afternoon and evening football. Still got plenty of time left in this one, as looks like the TV timeout slowly approaching its end. Hawaii still huddled up, the Michigan defense ready to go. It's Gary, Gideon, Winovich, and looks like Ryan Glasgow out there. Sorry, stumbling over my words. The wind has picked up a little bit here in beautiful Ann Arbor, Michigan. Still about 75 degrees. A perfect day for watching a football game. I'd imagine it's kind of hot down there on the field, but you won't find any players complaining, especially not in the Jim Harbaugh coach team.
Wolverines had the water fans cooling them off on the sidelines earlier. Looks like those have been turned off for now.
Hawaii now back onto the field from their own 46-yard line, facing 3rd and 5. It'll be Drew Brown operating out of the gun. 3 wide receivers to his right, 2 to his left. Michigan, only really 2 down linemen, but 6 guys up on the line. Now it looks like McCray splitting out to the far side in coverage. Brown pointing to his left, takes the snap. Michigan rushing 4. Blitz gets there quickly. The throw is intercepted. Channing scribbling down the left sideline, the 30, 20, 10. It's going to be another pick 6 for the Michigan Wolverines. Stripling going to get this one. No flags on the play. Sean Gary in on the pressure, and Michigan now leads this one by 7 scores.
And the first pass attempt from Drew Brown right into the hands of Channing Stribling. He had nothing but green in front of him. Perfectly read for throw. And the Wolverines continue to pour it on here in Ann Arbor on top of the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. Soon to be 49-0.
It'll be Ryan Tice on for the PAT. That one would have been Stribling's second interception of the game if not for a roughing the passer penalty. The kick up on the way, and it is good. The Wolverines lead 49-0. Delano Hill had a pick six earlier in this game. Now Channing Stribling doing more of the same. Michigan, I believe, only had 2 defensive touchdowns all of last year. They have matched that number in their opener alone. This defense widely touted as one of the best in the country heading into the season, and they have not disappointed here in the opener against the Rainbow Warriors.
Not in the least. Scoring on all facets, winning every bit of this game, and the score line is exactly how the game has been played, an absolute blowout.
So with still 25 minutes and change to go in the game, is there anything you're looking for out of maybe the lesser talked about portions of Michigan's roster heading down the rest of this game?
Just trying to get some other players some playing time. I would expect to see John O'Korn come in for Wilton Spade at some point in this one. Maybe see a few other freshmen get some better opportunities at the ball. But other than that, it's just going to be a time for Michigan to work out some kinks and get some playing experience for some of the younger guys on this team. They just continue to pour it on no matter what they do. And everything they've touched has turned to golden points.
The Vegas spread coming into this game, 40 points. Michigan has already obliterated that and looks to add more onto that. I'll tell you one thing I'm looking forward to seeing is some more action out of the tight ends. We haven't seen much out of Ian Bunting or Ty Wheatley Jr. today.
Got to see 1 touchdown reception from Jake Butt, best tight end in the country.
Yeah, but this Michigan tight end core also one of the deepest. It'll be James Foog again booting it deep. It'll be fielded by Harris at his own 1-yard line, heading up the middle of the field. Gets a couple of blocks and falls out across the 20 to the 21-yard line, and that's where Hawaii will begin their next drive. 10:45 to go here in the third quarter. Michigan leads 49-0 on WCBN FM Ann Arbor's broadcast of Michigan football. The only statistic in which Hawaii leads right now, time of possession. They've held the ball for 18 minutes and 29 seconds. Michigan's drives just don't take long enough. They've only had it for 15:40. Plenty of reps, plenty of playing time out there for the Michigan defense, which still seems to be comprised of mostly first and second team players. It's going to be tough sailing for the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. It'll be Drew Brown operating out of the gun for Hawaii. Paul Harris split wide to his right in the backfield. Drew Brown takes the snap, drops back, looks, throws quickly, cutting across the middle and making the catch for the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. I believe John Ursua. He's out across the 32-yard line for a first down. Ursua pegged as a starter. We've seen mostly Dylan Cowley out there in the slot position, but Hawaii giving Ursua some time. Drew Brown now out of the gun. Harris to his left. Takes a snap quick. Pulls it back from Harris. It's a keeper. He cuts up field behind a few blockers and is finally popped level down to the ground. Rashawn Gary in on the tackle, dragged him down, and his helmet came off during the play, so he's going to have to miss a play. 2nd down and 2 awaits the Rainbow Warriors. And Gary gets a mild round of applause from the fans in attendance. They know his name, know the kind of talent that man possesses.
The number 1 recruit in all of the land last year, Rashawn Gary has already seen some light on the defensive end so far today. Forced that pick 6 into Channing Stribling for the Wolverines' last touchdown.
Drew Brown again out of the gun. Everything to his left. Takes a snap, gives to Harris. Plunging forward. Didn't get a lot of blocking. Was stacked up there by Ryan Glasgow. Close to the first down marker. At about the 42.5-yard line, and the refs will give Hawaii the first down. That is their 9th first down of the game, I believe. They're getting very close to 100 total yards. which they were not on pace to do. They were in the negatives for most of the first half before a late drive that ended in that intentional grounding penalty. 1st and 10 from the 42-yard line for Hawai'i. Drew Brown operating out of the gun again. Michigan 4-down lineman. Brown takes a snap, gives to Harris running left, and he is stacked up going nowhere. It was Gideon and McCray in the backfield. McCray wrapped him up, and he has made a few tackles for loss today. He's been all over the ball.
Mike McCray really showing what he can do out there, a name that really had not been brought up much in the preview leading up to this game, but has really shown some flashes of great play on the defensive side of the ball, blowing up plays left and right, really striving in this first appearance of the Don Brown defense, the most blitz-heavy defense Michigan has seen in decades.
So it'll be 2nd down and 11 from the 41-yard line. Empty backfield. Drew Brown out of the gun. 5 wide receivers. 3 to his right, 2 to his left. Takes the snap, drops back. Now steps up in the pocket, looking to run is Drew Brown, and he will be wrapped up across the 1st down marker into Michigan territory. In on the tackle was Diamante Thomas. It'll be 1st down for Hawai'i at the Michigan 47-yard line.
Drew Brown, if nothing else, has been okay on the ground. He's, after that carry, going to lead Hawai'i in the rushing category, as St. Just in the first half, the starting running back, 9 attempts for just 13 yards. Now Drew Brown in just 2-1.
Once again, it will be Brown operating out of an empty backfield in the shotgun formation. Michigan 4-down lineman, maybe looking to contain Brown on the ground a little more. Takes the snap, 1-step drop, throws it wide open is Marcus Kemp. He is tripped up across the 35 down to the 33-yard line. Jabril Peppers operating a deep safety came over and made the hit instantly, but another 1st down for Hawai'i, moving the ball well against this Michigan defense.
Kemp is still the #1 receiver for the Rainbow Warriors, has shown some good strides here today. 4 catches for 72 yards, long of which was 28 in the opening game against Cal. Kemp went for 4 receptions and 73 yards.
Brown out of the gun. Harris to his left in the backfield. Takes the snap, fakes the give to Harris, drops back to pass, floats one up toward the far sideline. Bit of pushing and shoving between Delano Hill and I believe Ammon Barker. The pass incomplete in wide open space, not even close to the intended receiver, who was John Ursua, my mistake. 2nd down and 10 now from the Michigan 34. Hawai'i looking to put their first points on the board here with 7:11 to go in the 3rd quarter.
Wolverines looking to maintain the shutout, something that they did 3 times last season in consecutive games.
Stephen Lakalaka now in the backfield to the left of Drew Brown, operating out of the gun yet again. Brown takes a snap, turns, gives to Lakalaka, plunging up the middle, met by a pile of Michigan linemen. He gets about 2 yards. That's going to set up 3rd and long yet again. A familiar situation for the Rainbow Warriors.
Morris, I know it's only week 1, but I've got to say, I think Lakalaka is the best last name that we're going to hear of any player all season long here covering Michigan football.
Well, Hawaii's starting defensive end is Makani Kema Kalevahea. He hasn't made any plays today, but that's a name that we've been waiting to bust out all game. Makani Kema Kalevahea. Remember that one.
The pronunciation guide for Hawai'i is a page deep.
Hawai'i 1 for 7 on 3rd downs all game, and now a timeout called by the Michigan Wolverines. So we're going to have to wait to see the outcome of this one. It was Diosemi St. Just back in the backfield for Hawai'i. They've kind of gone running back by committee down the stretch ever since St. Just came out, starting the game and taking the majority of plays for them. Nobody's really been that effective. Hawai'i 24 rushes for 13 yards on the day. That figure deflated slightly by Ikeka Woolsey's 5 rushes for negative 34 yards. Most of that involved being planted on his back after dropping back to pass. Michigan's defensive front 7 has spent a lot of time in Hawaii's backfield.
Couple quick score updates. The Ohio State Buckeyes are now rolling on Bowling Green, 42-10 in the 3rd quarter. Meanwhile, Oklahoma, the Sooners, ranked #3 in the country, trailing the #15 Houston Cougars by a score of 26-17. That's midway through the 3rd. And just opening up in Washington, the Washington Huskies up on the Rutgers Scarlet Knights 7-0 with just a few minutes gone in the first quarter.
Now we're back in action here. Drew Brown operating out of the gun, split to his right is Diosmi St. Just. Two wide receivers to his left, in motion across the formation. Now back out to the left is Ursua. 3 down linemen for the Wolverines. They're sending the house. Back to pass is Brown, hesitates, rolling to his right now, turns around, back to his left. Flag on the play. There's going to be a holding called. Floats up a pass toward the left sideline, incomplete. It was Jeremy Clark on the coverage. Chase Winovich giving chase to Drew Brown as he scampered toward the left side, but there will be a flag for holding. Looks like the refs are confirming with Jim Harbaugh as to whether he wants to accept or decline the penalty. If he were to decline, it would be 4th and 8.
Holding. Offense. Number 50. 10-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Looks like Harbaugh's going to take the 10 yards, push Hawaii out of field goal range, and give the defense another shot to maybe push him back a little more.
So Hawaii trying to maintain some semblance of productivity on offense. They are over 100 yards for the game now, 124 in total.
The wave sweeps around the big house in downtown Ann Arbor, Michigan. Looks like David Long going to see some time at cornerback. He is covering Marcus Kemp on the near side. Brown will operate out of the gun. 5 wide receivers, 3 on his left, 2 on his right. 3rd down and 18. The crowd amped up as they can be with a 7-score lead. Brown back to pass now. Scampers out toward his left. He's going to tuck and run. Across the 30, now out to the 25. Tries to hurdle Brandon Watson toward that far sideline. I think he was brought down just shy of the 1st down marker. Now with 4th and short to go, Hawaii going to be faced with a decision.
Michigan is pitching a shutout right now. Hawaii could attempt to just take the 3 points and put some respect on the board.
It looks like that's what they're going to do.
Hawaii still taking a second. Looks like they are going to set up offensively.
It'll be Drew Brown out of the gun. All of his options to his right. Looks like some confusion in the substitutions as Laka runs onto the field, and now a timeout called by the Rainbow Warriors. It took them a while to get organized, and you could tell that everybody was not on the same page. Our analyst down on the field saying on that last play that Rashawn Gary lost contain on Drew Brown, and that's why he was able to run free for about 15 yards or so. Michigan's been guilty of that a few times. I don't think it's something that you'll see very often, given how gifted all of these athletes are in pursuit and the kind of work ethic that they show on the field. But at the same time, it's the first game. These are the kinks that Michigan needs to iron out. Unfortunately, they'll get the chance to do so without much pressure, leading 49-0.
And during this break, I'm going to take a moment to honor the Air Force flyover crew from earlier in today's game. Flying from the 435th Fighter Training Squadron, working alongside the 157th Fighter Squadron, all donning Michigan caps and their flight suits. Another opportunity to honor our armed forces here in Ann Arbor.
Some interesting personnel starting to take the field. Looks like Garrett Miller out there at defensive tackle for the Wolverines. He'll be lined up next to Matt Godin. Other than that, still mostly starters.
Mike Roblewski, the walk-on, also coming into the game.
Yeah, and Garrett Miller also a walk-on for the Wolverines on the defensive line, looking to stack up the Rainbow Warriors here on this 4th down and short. 5:34 to go here in the 3rd quarter. The game has been all Michigan. And, going for this on 4th down or kicking the field goal, pretty much a moot point. But I like the decision by the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. Give their guys a chance to get in the end zone.
And it's not like Hawaii has been as unproductive as they were in the start of the first half. They have moved the ball a little bit better here. It makes a lot of sense for me to go here on 4th and 1. Regardless, you're down by 7 touchdowns, probably going to lose this game. But if you get a touchdown here, going to put a little bit more pride back into you headed home. Hawaii has had a long week full of travel. They went to Australia to open up the season against the Cal Golden Bears, flew home, and then had to fly back to Ann Arbor. Another extremely long trip just within a matter of 7 days.
Yeah, Hawaii's traversed over 19,000 miles through the air from Hawaii to Australia, back to Hawaii, and now out to the big house in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And once they return to Hawaii, they will have flown enough miles to circle the earth. So on top of all the travel, they have to come into the big house and face a number 7 ranked in the country Michigan team, motivated to put on a show for their home crowd.
I think that's enough to get you onto the first level of membership with Delta, to the silver level on Sky Miles.
4th down and 1. Drew Brown out of the gun. St. Just to his left. Taking his time, 10 seconds on the play clock. Takes the snap, turns, gives to St. Just. Stacked up, and he is not going to get the first down. A failed 4th down attempt by Hawaii. Ryan Glass got the first one in on the tackle. Michigan takes over at their own 25-yard line, and it's just more of the same for both of these sides in this game.
And the shutout still intact as the Wolverines stop yet another deep incursion into their zone.
Just a great push by the front of that Michigan defensive line getting through. That play never had a chance from the get-go, and it looks like we're going to see John O'Korn in at quarterback for the Michigan Wolverines.
The transfer from Houston lost the starting quarterback battle to Wilton Spate. Going to see his first snap as a Michigan Wolverine here.
And he will turn and give to Ty Isaac, running to his left. Dragged down by his ankles by Danny Malanga. Looked close to breaking that one into the secondary pass to the second level. Isaac showing some impressive burst. Instead, just gets 8 yards.
Speaking of Houston, the Cougars still up 26-17 on the Oklahoma Sooners in a 3 versus 15 matchup.
And on this play, it'll be Michigan operating out of the offset eye. O'Korn under center, turns, gives again to Ty Isaac. Doesn't have much blocking in front of him. He's tripped up and brought down across the 7-yard line. It's a gain of 3 and a first down for the Wolverines. Jalen Rogers in on the tackle for the Rainbow Warriors. Some interesting names out there for the Wolverines. Freshman wide receiver Kakoa Crawford seeing his first playing time in a maize and blue uniform. Devin Asiasi, another tight end, seeing more time after some snaps in the first half. Michigan operating out of the offset eye. Hill split to the right. O'Korn takes the snap, turns to the wrong side, outruns a defender, dumps it short. It is caught for a few yards by Sean Nikian. Gain of about 4 out across the 42-yard line. 2nd down and 6 now for the Wolverines offense. And now we're starting to see Coach Harbaugh empty the bench.
Coming out onto the field, Simeon Smith and Drake Harris, both wide receivers from deep within that receiving core for the Wolverines, getting an opportunity to see some of the football here.
Freshman right guard Michael Onwenu also out there for the Wolverines. The 2nd and 5 play, a play action. The pass is thrown to the right side into the flat to Henry Pogge. Makes the catch. He's tripped up and brought down across the 45 to the 46-yard line. This is going to bring out 3rd down and 2 for the Wolverines. 3:35 to go here in the 3rd quarter on WCBN FM Ann Arbor's broadcast of Michigan football. Michigan leading 49-0, looking to tack on a few extra points as these second-teamers are looking to prove that they belong out there on the field. Michigan has not failed to convert on 3rd down yet today. They are 5 for 5. It'll be O'Korn under center. Big down in the backfield, takes the give. With the snap, gives to McDoom, running left on the end around. Pushed out of bounds, but not until he crosses the 35-yard line into enemy territory. A long run and a first down for Eddie McDoom. And that's the only action in which we've seen him today. He's had 2 end-around runs. The crowd loving that they get to shout out McDoom.
I think that's my new favorite thing this season is when Eddie McDoom touches the ball, you just hear a doom from the crowd. It's awesome.
Michigan working quickly. It'll be O'Korn under center out of the offset eye. Isaac in the backfield. Pogge to his left. O'Korn turns, gives to Isaac. Running left, bounces off a couple of tacklers and drags them out of bounds to the near sideline. only got about 2 yards on the carry. And it's getting a little difficult to recognize some of the names on Michigan's offensive line, as it looks like they are starting to empty the bench a little. That was Patrick Kugler leading the way toward the left side.
We're seeing 3-man unit switches just about every play now. Jim Harbaugh, pretty much any player on the Michigan sideline that doesn't have a red shirt is coming into this game.
It'll be O'Korn now out of the gun. Ty Wheatley Jr. in the game for the Wolverines. Karan Higdon split out to the right of O'Korn. Asiasi in motion across the formation. O'Korn quick snap, fires, and a nice grab on a slant route by McDoom out across the 25-yard line. Another first down for the Wolverines, and the freshman wide receiver showing an impressive set of hands.
That pass came in hot and high from O'Korn, but McDoom able to reach out with those long arms, that extended reach, and keep his hands tightly onto the football, and yet another McDoom comes from the crowd.
An absolute rocket out of the right hand of John O'Korn, too, it must be said. Offset eye again for the Wolverines. O'Korn under center. Turns, gives to Higdon. Cutting up the field. Through, he's got a seam, just tripped up from behind across the 10 down to the 8-yard line. It was Cameron Hayes on the tackle.
Touchdown saving tackle by Hayes as Higdon split right up the middle with a lot of speed. It looked like he could have gone all the way to the house, but the Wolverines planted at the 6.
It'll be first and goal. Michigan up 7 scores, looking to make it 8. Digging deep down into the depth chart, but still having the same success against this Warriors defense. Rainbow Warriors, I should say. O'Korn under center, I formation, turns, gives to Higdon, makes a quick cut at the line, plunges to his left. Out on the right hash marks across the 5 to the 4-yard line, gain of 2 that'll set up second and goal from the 4-yard line.
Michigan has seen 6 different rushers in this game, as well as 9 different receivers. A lot of men with hands on the ball, and it's been fairly well spread out. The only 2 receivers with more than 1 reception, Amara Darbo and J.U. Chesson, with 3 apiece. Ways, Butt, Perry, McDoom, Hill, McKeon, and Poggi, the other 7 that have made catches today.
O'Korn out of the I formation again, under center. Asiasi in motion to the left. Turns, gives to the fullback, Hill, charging forward into the end zone. Touchdown, Khalid Hill. Michigan adds to their lead.
Khalid Hill, his first rush of the day. Good block by Juwan Bushell-Beatty to push him into the end zone. And the Wolverines burgeoning over 50 points, about to go up 56-0 here on the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors.
Where does it end, Jeremy?
When the clock runs out in the 4th quarter, but we're not even to the 4th yet. 18 seconds remain here in the 3rd.
Good answer. It's going to be Ryan Tice on to attempt the PAT. Garrett Moore's the holder, receives the snap, puts it down. The kick is up, and the kick is good. 56-0. Michigan leads the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors, who've got to be desperate just to go home. They have been beaten down in every fashion today.
Look at this. The number 3 Oklahoma Sooners, after giving up yet another touchdown, now trail the number 15 Houston Cougars by a score of 33-17.
And now we see a steady stream of fans heading toward the exit, nowhere more prominent than near the student section, but we see fans heading out in other areas of the stadium as well. This game is done and dusted. Michigan dominant in every facet of the game. And right now, basically the only reason to stick around is to see what some of the kids can do.
You've got to imagine if you continue to beat a dead horse, Morris, you'll eventually just give out from exhaustion. But the Wolverines continuing to pound this roster just so deep, continuing to blow up the backfield on defense and continuing to just pound the ball forward, both on the ground and in the air against the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors.
It's going to be James Foog again kicking it deep once they can securely place the football on the kicking tee. It was blown out by the wind. It doesn't appear to be coming down too strongly. Back deep to receive, Keelan Iwaliko alongside, I believe, Dejon Butler. Foog with the run-up, boots it high and deep. This one's going to make its way back about 3 yards into the end zone. It's received down there by Iwaliko, and he will take a knee. So Hawaii will start the drive at the 25.
Looked like on the end of that play, Kalamona Gifford getting into it with one of the Michigan special team specialists. This Hawaii team probably frustrated, as you can imagine, with the result of this game, coming in hoping to maybe spoil the party for these muchly anticipated Wolverines debut, and they've been absolutely wiped out of the building, 56-0.
Hawaii,
we haven't even started the fourth quarter.
Hawaii came into this game having lost 25 of their last 26 road games, and it's safe to say they haven't played many teams better than this Michigan one in that stretch. It'll be Brown operating out of the gun, fakes the give, now scampering toward his left. Winovich is all over him and wraps him up toward the far sideline. No gain on the play. Good pursuit from the Michigan backup defensive end, who is going to be seeing some more time on the field in games to come. It's going to bring out second down and 10 for Hawaii, and now
it's the end of the third quarter here.
Yeah, it's going to bring an end to the third quarter. Michigan leads 56-0 as we head into the final period of today's football game. You are listening, just to remind you, to WCBN FM Ann Arbor's broadcast of Michigan football. A dominant performance today by the Wolverines. I do not think that they have been stopped on offense since Wilton Spate's first throw of his 2016 season resulted in an interception. Ever since, it's been touchdown drive after touchdown drive. When the offense can get on the field, Delano Hill and Channing Stribling, the only players stealing glory from this Michigan offense with some pick sixes of their own.
Michigan 6 of 6 on third down. They have 21 total first downs. Only 3 penalties. It's been a fairly clean game played by the Wolverines as they're over 400 yards on the day, 262 rush yards, 161 pass yards, 423, dwarfing Hawaii's 141.
It'll be Hawaii back on offense when we get things back underway. This Michigan defense, so balanced, so deep. If you're an opposing offense, and I don't think Hawaii necessarily has the personnel to move the ball consistently against this Michigan team. But how do you go about attacking this Don Brown-led defense?
I think Hawaii has just about exhausted the options. They seem to find a few intermediate passes towards the end of the first half that were resulting in some decent movement, but were unable to complete anything after that. Michigan locked down the secondary, then tried to go to a more mobile quarterback in the event that the pressure came. He might be able to roll out, and we've seen Drew Brown, the mobile quarterback, get a few rushes, 4 for 38 yards as he leads Hawaii, doubling anybody else's rushing yards and then some with 38. Hawaii's only run for 30 yards in total because of Kaika Woolsey, negative 34 with the sacks and rollouts that were blown up in the backfield by the Michigan defense. But if you're Hawaii, just continue to try the same thing, even though that's the definition of insanity. You have to look for something to work, and there's really nothing doing.
Looks like a fair amount of starters on the field for the Michigan defense. Jabril Pepper's still out there, along with Delano Hill, DeMonte Thomas. Devin Bush going to get some playing time in place of Mike McRae, who's been all over the field today, perhaps the most impressive player on this Michigan defense today. Mike Dwumfor going to be seeing some time on the defensive line. Jeremy Clark and Brandon Watson split out to either side at the cornerback position. We're still waiting for the Hawaii offense to get in formation and get ready for this drive. You can understand their reluctance at this point.
Meanwhile, the crowds continue to file out of Michigan Stadium here. By the time the fourth quarter's over, there may not be anybody left to watch this one, as it's not even the start of the fourth quarter. Morris and I and Leo Blavin might be the only ones left.
Would it be the first time that Utah game a few years ago where it was just pouring rain? You don't want to look back and remember those dark days of Michigan football, but
we were there.
That was a situation where I think it was Leo and Eli Sherman who remained and called the remainder of that game in the pouring rain. Nobody left in the stadium. Miserable football being played. Now a bit of substitution confusion on the defensive side for the Wolverines. It'll be Drew Brown operating out of the gun, takes the snap, drops back to throw, facing pressure, rolls to his right, being pursued toward the sideline by Godin. He outruns him, Now scampers down the sideline forward for about 12 yards before he ducks out of bounds. A first down for the Hawai'i Rainbow Warriors.
Godin played it well, just not quite fast enough to catch up to the speed of Drew Brown and beat him to the outside.
Lawrence Marshall also seeing some time out there for the Wolverines. David Long did replace Devin Bush on the last play, but now Bush back on in his place.
I think if you're Michigan now, when it comes to the defense, the only thing on your mind is to maintain the shutout.
It'll be Drew Brown out of the gun. One back split to his right. Brown back to pass, looking toward the right side. One-on-one coverage. The throw is caught. It is Marcus Kemp going up there against Brandon Watson and coming down with a big play across the 40 to the Michigan 39-yard line. Another first down for the Rainbow Warriors, who are at least making forward progress against the Wolverines defense.
Yep, Watson just overran that one in coverage, unable to get back as a nice leaping grab was made by Kemp.
Quick snap to give to St. Just. Brought down, wrapped up as he crosses the 36 down to the 35-yard line. Looked like Lawrence Marshall in there on the tackle, 2nd and 6, awaiting Hawai'i from the Michigan 35-yard line. Hawai'i working quickly to get off that last snap, now taking a little more time. It'll be Drew Brown out of the gun. Split to his left is St. Just, 2 wide receivers out to his left. Michigan stacking the box. A lot of players near the line of scrimmage. Brown takes a snap. The blitz coming. Lofts one up toward the left side. That one knocked away by Delano Hill, the intended receiver, Dylan Colley, but Hill matching him step for step, reaching up at the last second, reading that one brilliantly.
Perfect coverage by Hill. Just swats that out of there, Revis Island style, and Hawai'i stunted as they tried to go for the deep ball.
Not in his big house today. 3rd down and 6 awaits the Rainbow Warriors from the Michigan 35-yard line. We've seen a lot of their drives kind of stall out in this no man's land. Can't really play for a field goal. But at this point, a 4th down conversion looking unlikely against the Wolverines. Brown out of the gun. Michigan sending the house. The handoff is absolutely stuffed in the backfield. Great penetration by the Wolverines.
First one in on the tackle, I think, was Ben Gideon.
Pepper's still out there. He was also in on the play. That's going to bring up 4th down and 8.
Yeah, Ben Gideon and closely followed by Jabril Peppers. The Wolverines getting through the A, B, and C gap at the same time and just jumping right through the line of the Hawai'i offense.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like Hawai'i is about to try a 55-yard field goal.
Rigoberto Sanchez's career long is 50. Kicked that last season.
The snap is down. The kick up on the way. It's got, did it have the distance? It did. It's good. A booming field goal from Rigoberto Sanchez. Give that man a round of applause. He's given Hawai'i their first points of the game. It's now 56-3. And that ball looked like it was dying as it crossed the crossbar. Almost didn't make its way out of the Michigan end zone, but just had enough juice to get over the crossbar. And those are points on the board for the Hawai'i Rainbow Warriors. They trail 56-3.
And if you are Don Brown's defense, I guess you can be at least a little bit happy that the first points that you relinquished this season don't come until the 4th quarter of the first game on a 55-yard boot field goal from Rigoberto Sanchez.
And, any points right now for the Hawai'i Rainbow Warriors are academic, but I thought that was nice for Hawai'i to give Sanchez, the senior, a chance to boot one from probably as far as he's going to get a chance to kick it this year in the big house in front of what are now probably about 70 or 80,000 fans. Didn't even have the wind at his back. That was all power from Rigoberto Sanchez. Got it done and gave his team some points. 12:30 to go here in the 4th quarter. Michigan leading Hawai'i 56-3 here on WCBN FM Ann Arbor's broadcast of Michigan football.
By the time Michigan announces their attendance, which is right now, Mo, I think 108,000.
Not bad. It is the record crowd that Hawaii has seen in any game in their program's history. They went down to the Horseshoe, played in Columbus against the Buckeyes last year. They brought 107-something thousand down there.
What do you think, Morris?
Well, we're about to see 110,222 the total attendance for today's game.
That's a lot of people.
Michigan cementing their place in Hawaii's record books. Almost definitely the biggest crowd watching college football in America today. The same will not be able to be said next week, as that showdown between Tennessee and Virginia Tech at Bristol Motor Speedway is likely going to eclipse all kinds of records. We're waiting for the TV timeout to conclude.
Michigan fans just kind of chilling now in the stands. They are content with the Wolverines' 56-3 lead. No need to get too jacked up over anything now.
Looks like Chris Evans will be back to receive the kick for the Wolverines. Unlike the last few years, Michigan has so much athleticism, so much talent, that especially in these games against inferior competition, we're going to see all kinds of guys back to receive punts and kicks. I think Peppers probably wants the glory, wants the chance to bring the punts back. And, he's more electrifying than any other athlete, maybe even in the Big Ten.
Maybe even in the country.
Yeah, he's going to be at least an outsider to start for a Heisman bid. And taking a couple punts back would go a long way toward promoting his chances. So I think we're going to see Peppers on most punts in most situations. But returning kicks could be anyone from Chesson, who brought one back last year, to Peppers, to Jordan Lewis, Chris Evans now we see back. A lot of speed, a lot of athleticism on this Michigan roster. Rigoberto Sanchez pops one up. It's going to be fumbled by the Wolverines. Pounced on out there by, I believe, Khalid Hill on the far side of the field. Picks it up and dives across the 27 to the 28-yard line, which is where Michigan is going to start their drive. It'll be Shane Morris. John O'Korn got one drive, and that's all he needed. Morris, the third-string quarterback for the Wolverines, will lead this drive.
Well, with a loss for the Oklahoma Sooners, the number 3 team in the country, conceivably the Michigan Wolverines will move up in the rankings to number 6 in the country for next week's game against the University of Central Florida Knights, a team that has not won a game in a very long time.
Call me crazy, but I don't think that streak is going to end here at the Big House. Morris operating under center, turns, fakes a handoff, rolling toward his left, dumps it off underneath. The pass is caught toward the left sideline by Sean McKeon, his second reception of the game. Gain of 5, that'll set up 2nd and 5 for the Wolverines. As we see heading off the field, TJ Wheatley.
Gain of 5 on the play, 2nd and 5.
Michigan giving a lot of guys some time in today's game. They've gotten to empty the bench. Kekoa Crawford split out wide to the left. Morris operating under center. I think that's Karan Higdon in the backfield. Asiasi in motion across the formation. Morris turns, gives, and it's Higdon bursting through a hole up the middle, stumbles across the 40. Gain of about 8 and a first down for the Wolverines out to the 41-yard line.
Michigan going to continue to chug the ball on the ground. Now it's Karan Higdon taking the majority of the snaps in the backfield. With that run, Higdon will go to 4 carries on the day, should be close to 35 yards.
Morris again under center. McDoom in motion, takes the snap, pitches out to Higdon. Doesn't have much blocking out wide to the left, and he is brought down. It was Jeremiah Pritchard in the backfield on the tackle for Hawaii. Loss of about 1, brings up 2nd and 11 for the Wolverines. There's not much analysis, not much to be offered for the rest of this game. Just kind of playing out the string. Both sides pretty much playing out the string at this point.
Yep.
Morris under center, offset eye, 2 wide receivers out wide to his left. McDoom in motion across the formation. Morris takes the snap, short drop, fires to McDoom on an out route. He makes the catch. He is tackled out of bounds by Jamal Mayo across the 45 to the 47-yard line. Gain of about 7. That's going to bring out 3rd and 4.
Thoughts on the Doom chant, Morris? I'm a big fan.
I mean, how can you not be it? It's not that original, but, you know, his name is one of a kind. How many chances are you going to get? Beats the likes of, you know, a Coon chance or a Homa chance, as have been popularized in Lambeau and in the Big House. The third down snap, out route caught toward the far side, plunging out across the 40-yard line and into Hawaii territory is Jacob West. Now that's someone I had never heard of even heading into this game. No, it was Michael Hirsch, my mistake, the fullback, making the catch. We're digging deep into the roster here, folks. It's going to bring up first down for the Wolverines at Hawaii's 38. Morris lines up under center, offset eye, turns, gives the ball. It is Higdon chopped up and brought down, gain of about 2.
Michigan keeping the ball on the ground, continuing to burn some clock off. 9.5 minutes to go here in the game. No real rush to get anything done. Happy to plug the ball away little by little.
In on the play there was Jalen Rogers. Morris once again lines up under center. 9:13 and counting to go in this football game. Morris takes the snap, fakes the give, back to pass, fires it across the middle and making the catch for his first career Michigan reception. Kakoa Crawford out across the 20. Gain of about 15 yards and a first down for the Wolverines. Michael Hirsch also with his first career reception for the Wolverines earlier on in the drive. Hirsch, a Harvard grad transfer coming to the university, and also a cancer survivor. Morris operating out from under center, takes the snap, turns, gives, running to the right and tripped up in the backfield around the line of scrimmage is Joe Hewlett in a running back.
We're getting to the point where names on the roster, I don't even remember coming up.
Yeah, you're going to have to take everything I say with a grain of salt because I could be confusing these players with any of the one or two other players wearing the same numbers.
Could throw Leo Blavin in some pads and put him out on the field.
Shane Morris again under center. Hirsch in the backfield with Hewlett behind him. Offset I formation. Morris fakes the give, running to his right. It's a naked bootleg out across the 10. Jukes a defender out across the 6-yard line. Down to the 5. Morris showcasing his agility and his athleticism out of that third-string quarterback spot.
As Chris Berman would say, whoop! Little jump back from Morris there.
Get the Wolverines in scoring position yet again. They have a 53-point lead. Looking to tack on a few more. At any point, do you think about just kicking the field goal early to give your kicker some run?
Nah, because it'll continue to burn clock as Michigan continues to run the ball.
Morris operating out of the I formation, pitches to Higdon, running to the left. He's got blockers. He's across the end zone line and in. Touchdown, Karan Higdon, a 5-yard sweep to the left side, and Michigan adds to their lead. Now 62-3, PAT pending.
How about this Michigan offense putting up points like it's nothing today, Morris?
And on for the PAT will again be Ryan Tice. If this keeps up, he's going to have more extra point conversions than Kenny Allen at the end of this game. Moore's on for the hold. The snap down, the kick is up, and the kick is through. 63-3, Michigan leads the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. 7:15 to go here in this game. Hawaii got to be praying for a merciful conclusion that has just been prolonged time and time again.
Michigan not showing any mercy, though, as they continue to pour it on. Up 60 with 7 minutes to play. An absolute evisceration of the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. Michigan fans continuing to file out. There are still some left in the Big House, not a lot. That student section is getting close to empty.
63-3 the score right now. The only real concerns on the minds of the Wolverine faithful after this game have got to be the injury troubles that saw some guys not dress for the game, some guys not take the field, and some guys head to the locker room early. That you expect to take a toll on Michigan's performance as we head down the road. Michigan looking ahead on the schedule, playing Central Florida at home. That game followed by a showdown with the Colorado Buffaloes, who won in pretty convincing fashion today. And then they will face Penn State and Wisconsin, both in the Big House.
Well, sure, none looked too serious as everybody left the field on their own will, but Davion Smith, without Davion Smith in the game, Michigan has done just fine on the ground, up to 288 yards rushing for the game. They seem to be doing all right with an embarrassment of riches at the halfback position. Brian Monet potentially re-aggravating something in that leg, did tear his ACL last season. Seemed to walk off on his own power, didn't seem too bad. And aside from that, Taco Charlton, hopefully it's not a nagging ankle injury. If it is, Michigan does have a fair amount of guys to back him up on that defensive front. But, ooh, bad voice crack. We're getting to crunch. Morris.
Well, you've been going all game, Jeremy, and at least earlier on in the game, there was plenty to say. This Michigan football team, the topic of much discussion throughout the entire offseason. And as you alluded to earlier, I don't know if the anticipation has been higher for any team heading into any season, at least since I've been aware of Michigan football.
Since you were born.
Since I was born, and probably for a decent amount of time before that. This is a team with national championship aspirations. 12-0 is realistic for this team.
We've got a barn burner going on in Kalamazoo, or in Evanston, Western Michigan, 22, Northwestern, 21. PJ Fleck in the Western Michigan Broncos, trying to row the boat and build on what was a very successful 2015 campaign. One of the best young coaches in all of college football leading Western Michigan. And in his tool bag, one of the best wide receivers in all of college football. As it looks like we're about to get back underway here in Ann Arbor.
It'll be once again James Foog on for the kickoff. They'll be booting it deep to Ewaliko and Butler for the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. $7:15 to go here in the game. Hopefully only a couple more drives remaining in this one. The outcome has not been in doubt since pretty much the opening kickoff. It's a high-angled kick toward the far side of the field. Fielded by Ewaliko, running up the middle, cutting toward the left. And he is hit, brought down by the first man he sees. On the coverage, it was Jordan Glasgow. Is that I believe that would be another of the Glasgow stock that has yielded productive play on both lines. And Graham and now Ryan Glasgow. Hawaii looking to add to their 3 points on today's game. Will be starting their drive from their own 16-yard line. It'll be Drew Brown, I believe, operating out of the gun. Brown takes the snap, gives to the running back, cutting through a hole out across the 24 to the 25-yard line. It is Stephen Lakalaka, a gain of 8. Second and short remaining for the Rainbow Warriors.
Brought down by Tyree Kinnell.
Tyree Kinnell in on the tackle. Another name that we haven't heard much of today at all. First call for Kinnell.
Second down and 2.
Well, there goes that red shirt. No, he got some playing time last year, too, I believe. No red shirt to be spoken of. Brown out of the gun, takes the snap, fakes the give, fires across the middle, making the catch is John Ursua out across the 35 on the right side hash marks to the 36-yard line. A first down for the Rainbow Warriors, who have really moved the ball effectively only through those intermediate passes against this Michigan defense. In on the tackle was Kalik Hudson, the freshman out of McKeesport, Pennsylvania, a former Penn State commit. A lot of Michigan fans intrigued by what he will have to offer to the program. Brown out of the gun, takes the snap, drops back to throw under pressure, evades some tacklers, chucks it down the field, looking for Laka Laka. The pass incomplete. It was Devin Bush on the coverage and Rashawn Gary on the pressure. Malik Hudson just short of an interception.
Gary very nearly had his first collegiate sack.
A little bit of a tug on the jersey from R.J. Hollis as he turned around the edge, but who could blame him? It'll be 2nd and 10, 5:55 to go in the football game. Brown out of the gun, takes the snap, turns, gives to Laka Laka up the middle. Gottesheim plunges into Brandon Watson and falls across the 50-yard line. First down again for the Rainbow Warriors. Gain of about 15 on the play.
First down, Hawai'i.
Clock continuing to run. Good blocking up front as it was Reuben Jones getting double teamed. Jones seeing his first playing time of the day on this drive. The snap to Brown out of the gun, gives again to Laka Laka, searching for room up the middle. He's out to the 46-yard line of the Wolverines. Gain of 3 or 4. 2nd and 6 remains.
A lot of time starting to chip off of that clock. About to go under 5 minutes left in this game, which is seemed to be an eternity for those who just continue to watch Michigan score.
4:55 and counting. Brown out of the gun, Laka Laka to his left, 2 receivers out wide to his right, 1 to his left. Laka Laka Brown takes a snap, gives to Laka Laka, stutter steps, and he is dragged down just past the point of attack out to the 44-yard line. Devin Bush, the leading tackler on the play. Sad news out of Detroit. The Detroit Lions have waived quarterback Jake Rudock. Dan Orlovsky will be the backup for the season. Unfortunate and a bit mystifying given Rudock's impressive performance throughout the preseason. And
he will find a home in the NFL.
Orlovsky's underwhelming history with the Lions. 3rd and 5 to go for the Rainbow Warriors. Michigan, 6 guys on the line of scrimmage. The snap, the give to Laka Laka, tripped up, brought down from behind. He falls across the 40-yard line between the 40 and 39. Looks to be about a half yard short of a first down. Chase Winovich on the tackle. Hawaii unsuccessful in their one try on 4th down today. They work quickly. Drew Brown out of the gun. Michigan discombobulated on the defensive end. A lot of guys up front. Takes the snap, gives to Laka Laka up the middle. He's got a first down. Out across the 35 to the 33-yard line. Laka Laka closing in on becoming the leading carrier for the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors today. Drew Brown, with 5 rushes for 49 yards, currently holds that claim.
Quick recap of the quarterback situation. Kaika Woolsey started the game for the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors, went 7-13, 88 yards and an interception. Drew Brown, 4 of 8, 60 yards, 1 interception, 5 rushing attempts, 49 yards.
Brown takes the snap, gives to Laka Laka. He's met in the backfield and dragged down. No gain on the play. It was Michael Dwumfor getting the penetration and getting the tackle for a loss.
Dwumfor, the largest human on the Wolverines team.
And it looks like he paid a bit of a price for it as he is down on the field. Injury, timeout taken to get him out of there.
And Michael Dwumfor is the player receiving attention.
For receiving some medical attention with, nothing really mattering on these plays remaining. That's the last thing you want to see on either side, really. Quick statistical update on the game. Michigan, 288 rush yards, 206 through the air, 494 total. Hawaii, 229 total yards. Michigan, about even with Hawaii in the time of possession department, but the eye test and the numbers on the scoreboard really tell the story. Michigan dominant almost from the get-go against this Hawaii Rainbow Warriors team who took until a 55-yard field goal from Rigoberto Sanchez here in the 4th quarter to get on the board. They trail 63-3 to the Wolverines.
Yep, Hawaii really had to take this one on the chin today. They will head back to Hawaii, 0-2, and looking to restart their season, rekindle something. Clock officially stands at 2 minutes and 48 seconds remaining in the game. Hawaii will have 2nd and 11 on the Michigan 34 once the offense resets. Nick Rolovich taking his time to speak to his team in the huddle.
1-4, like every other Michigan player dinged up today, did make it off the field under his own power. It's about all we can hope for in this situation. When we get things back underway, it'll be Drew Brown operating out of the gun for Hawaii. 2nd and about 11.5 from the Michigan 34.5-yard line. The line to gain is the Michigan 23. He's got Laka split to his right in the backfield. And it looks like 1-4 back on the field for the Wolverines. As heading off the field is Lawrence Marshall. So obviously nothing too serious, maybe just a cramp. Dehydration can be a pain, even if you spend most of the game on the sidelines. Still got to stay hydrated. Kudos must be given to the fans who have remained at this game. The stadium about half full right now. Still a rather impressive sight, but you can definitely tell the crowd has gotten a lot sparser. Credit must also be given to the Michigan marching band and, the various forms of cheerleaders around the stadium. They've kept up their full intensity throughout the entire game, despite, having plenty to cheer for, but not many high-intensity plays, ever since the beginning of the game. It'll be Brown out of the gun, Laka to his right. Michigan 4-down lineman, Bush encroaching on the line. Brown takes the snap, fakes the give, rolls to his right, fires toward the sideline. The pass knocked away, incomplete. In on the coverage there was Lavert Hill.
First time we called Lavert Hill's name. Good lockdown coverage there over on the right-hand side. Just a nice bat away on the sideline.
Pass intended for Keelan Iwaliko. 3rd down and 11 now for the Rainbow Warriors. They have 1 timeout remaining, Michigan with 2. I would be pretty surprised if any of those got used in what remains of this game. It'll be Brown out of the gun, Laka to his left. 4 wide receiver set. 4-down lineman for the Wolverines, and now a flag on the field. It's going to be delay of game.
Offense. Number 19. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
As you heard, delay of game on the Rainbow Warriors, pushing them a little farther back. Now it'll be 3rd and 17 from the Michigan 39-yard line. Got to expect a draw play in this situation. I think Hawaii is done here. We're all done here except for the time left on the clock.
Looks like Hawaii may very well try and throw this ball. Is that a timeout called?
Timeout. Michigan.
Jim Harbaugh has not finished as he has called a timeout for the Wolverines. Must have seen something he didn't like out on the defensive side of the ball.
Harbaugh, one of the few human beings I know who would have it in him to call a timeout up 60 with 2:39 remaining in the 4th quarter.
I'll give you a rundown of the stat line for the Wolverines. Wilton Spate, the starting quarterback today, 10 of 13 for 145 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Leading rusher Chris Evans, 8 runs for 112 yards, 2 touchdowns. Had a long rush of 43 to open up the second half. Running closely behind, Ty Isaac with 9 carries for 52 yards. John O'Corn came in to replace Wilton Spate, went 3 of 3 for 16 yards. Shane Morris also came in, went 4 of 4 for 45 yards, totaling 206 total passing yards on the day. Michigan saw 9 rushers of the ball, 36 carries for 288 yards, all said and done. and 17 receptions spread across 11 different receivers, 206 yards, 3 touchdowns in total, 4 touchdowns in the rushing game, and 2 pick-6 returns for touchdowns.
Impressive stuff for the Wolverines. They've just beaten up on what is a not very good Hawaii football team. I got to ask, Jeremy, Michigan has been so impressive today. It's been fun to watch, but do you think they might have benefited by scheduling someone who could, actually maybe put up some sort of a fight today?
No, I think this was either way a good tune-up game for the Wolverines, a good way to kind of gauge where this team is at. And as I say that, I'm looking over to my left shoulder on the TV, proud to say Western Michigan has defeated the Northwestern Wildcats 22-21, and a big hallmark win to open up the season for PJ Fleck and the Western Michigan Broncos. Meanwhile, not necessarily a hallmark win on the field here for the Wolverines today, but a big win nonetheless, looking like the Wolverines will win by at least 60 points here, up 63-3. Little earth, wind, and fire over the loudspeakers will keep us entertained during this timeout. We're about to get ready again after a nonsensical Jim Harbaugh timeout with Michigan up 60. Hawaii with the ball, 3rd and 16.
Once the TV timeout is over, and there have been some extended TV timeouts today.
All said and done, this game's going to go about 3.5 hours in a sunny Ann Arbor daylight sky.
It'll be Brown out of the gun, Laka to his left in the backfield. Michigan, 4 down linemen, Rashawn Gary and Winovich bookending in this formation. Devin Bush approaches the line. Brown takes the snap back to throw, fires toward the right side in the flat. It's caught, but met there and wrapped up on the play.
Brown's pass complete to Devontae Hager.
In on the tackle was Tyree Cannell. The catch made out there, and forgive me for a sec, we're going deep into Hawaii's depth chart now. Devasia Hager with the catch.
We're going to tick under 2 minutes here before this punt gets off from the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. Back to receive for the Wolverines is Chris Evans.
Maybe the highlight of the game for Hawaii. Rigoberto Sanchez's performance pinned the Wolverines at the 1-yard line in a similar situation on his last punt. Now Evans will take the fair catch at the 9. Sanchez, all class through and through for Hawaii. Booted a 55-yard field goal. Definitely the bright spot for the Rainbow Warriors to take home.
Houston still leading over the Oklahoma Sooners 33-17 as they look en route to a big opening weekend victory against the number 3 team in the country. Last year college football playoff team in Oklahoma.
Also news out of the Big Ten, the Northwestern Wildcats just completed a defeat at the hands of the Western Michigan Broncos down in Evanston. That's not so good for the Big Ten. Out of the I formation, Michigan begins their drive. It's a run up the middle for a gain of about 7. Ron Higdon with the run in at quarterback for the Wolverines, I believe, is Alex Malzone.
Davis, the ball carrier.
No, it was Kingston Davis with the run. I believe Malzone wearing number 10 instead of his listed number 12. Hard to tell, can't see the jersey from up here very well. I can just see the number. Is presumably Malzone turns, gives to Davis, shakes a couple tackles, threw a hole on the right side out across the 25 to the 26-yard line before he's brought down by a couple of Rainbow Warriors. A minute 7 and counting to go in this game.
That first down will allow Michigan to take knees to finish out this game.
Just remains to be seen if that's what they're going to do. Michigan
might put it on the ground.
Continue running the ball. Malzone takes a snap, turns, gives to Joe Beneducci. Tries to shake free of a Hawaii defender. He's brought down by about 8 Rainbow Warriors. No gain on the play. Doesn't look like Michigan's going to get off another snap. The clock will wind down. They can let it run to completion if they so choose.
The team is now entering the field as this game does appear to be over.
Harbaugh striding out toward the black M at midfield. Going to shake hands with Nick Rolovich. 9 seconds, 8-7 to go. And that's going to close the books on a Michigan 63-3 victory. And now it's official. Michigan starts off the 2016 football season on the right foot. Dynamic, complete, dominant victory over the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors.
Michigan's third win against Hawaii in team history. All-time win number 926. A big opening day win for the Wolverines, 63-3. Morris, if I gotta say it, I think my player of the game would be Chris Evans, the freshman, burning his red shirt, coming up out of nowhere to run on 8 carries for 112 yards, 2 touchdowns, including that 43-yard scant to start the game, or to start the second half here. Michigan cruised.
It's not a bad pick. I'd have to echo that. We're going to be back at it again next week as Michigan takes on the University of Central Florida. But before that, be sure to tune into our broadcast of Michigan soccer. They play this Monday at home. We will be broadcasting that game on WCBNsports.org. Go to our website to hear our broadcast. Until then, I think that's all we have for you. Be sure to tune into the Daily Sports Report. As of now, I think it's Mondays and Thursday, 5:30 to 6:30. But once school starts, Monday through Thursday, 6 to 6:30 on 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor. But for Jeremy Parks, I'm Morris Fabry. Thank you for tuning into our broadcast today. I'll leave you all with a good night and a Go Blue.